What's up, my compadres? It's I, Michelangelo from the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Just kidding, it is I, Willy Cage, with another video once again. I know, I was on my hiatus for a minute. But you know, I didn't want to upload a video without having the good old energy that I always bring to my videos, you know what I'm saying? But I know what you're thinking. Today, what am I reviewing? A movie trailer, a candy bar, 2 candy bars, possibly even a soda? No, no, no. Let's hold back on the reviews for today. Today, we're going a little different route. Now, unless you've been living in the sewers of Manhattan with your 3 brothers and a rat learning karate and ninjutsu, you've probably heard the rumors that there's a Friday the 13th movie in the works. What? Crazy. I know. Well, it's not 100% confirmed yet, but it's basically, you know, it's going around here and there about this, that, and the third. They're saying there's a 2023 release date. They're saying this, they're saying that. Nothing is 100%, it's just the idea that's floating around. But what if it does happen? Have you ever thought about that? So let's be in this universe where they do create this new Friday the 13th movie. What about all the copyrights? I mean, there was the video game that had the issues. Then there was that movie that was in the works but got canceled. That was about like Jason Voorhees' dad or something. I don't remember. So how is this movie gonna prosper if those things didn't? We'll sit back, me compadres, me amigos, and I'll tell you, or at least I'll tell you what I think could happen. So with the copyrights, I know there's 2 people. I can't remember either of their name. Oh wait, no, I think one of them is Sean Cunningham. Alright, so the first guy over here, he has rights to Jason, and this guy also has rights to Jason. But they have different rights, right? Alright, you getting these rights? So this dude has like the whole backstory of Jason, you know, his mother, when he drowns, the bullying, so on and so forth. So basically like the first movie or so. And then the other guy, Sean Cunningham, I believe he has everything else, if I'm not mistaken here. So with that in mind, let's see like what can this movie be? Because usually it's this dude over here that's not allowing anything to happen, you know? That's what's starting all the arguments and whatnot. So let's say they do make this new Friday the 13th movie, but we can't use the drowning backstory or the original backstory, right? So what can they do for a backstory? Well, I, Willy Cage, have whipped up a diabolical recipe for a backstory, if I may say. Now, if you're watching Hollywood, you know, hit my Gmail. I'll answer. I'll give you these ideas for a small fee. Right now, it's free $99. But you know, Marvel has this thing called What If, you know, and it goes through all the universes. Well, this is going to be a new segment on my channel called Willy Cage's What If. And I'm just going to talk about what if this goes this way, this goes that way. Other times I'm going to be talking about movies like the new Texas Chainsaw movie that come out, and be talking about like what if they did this instead of making a horrendous movie that I had to watch. Anyway, not to get off topic, let's get back on. So let's say this backstory, right? They want to take it back to the beginning. You know, what do they call those? A remake. Like they want to do a new remake for whatever reason, right? That's where they want to start the new movie. So what if, you know, he can't drown unless we want to get the movie ripped out of our hands. So it takes us back to Jason. He's a little Nino, a little kid, you know, still at the camp. I'm pretty sure that's all right for the backstory. And, you know, they're picking on him for whatever reason, right? Maybe he has, like, a bit of deformities or whatever, but instead of drowning him, you know, the kids bully him. They take him in the middle of the woods somewhere, and they just beat him, like, sadistically, like, beat the tar out of this kid, you know, and leave him for dead. Like, he has his skull caved in, so, like, many scars and bruises, like, all fucked up, right? So he's already deformed, now he's, like, super deformed, right? So there we go. We already got, like, the Jason looking super deformed under the mask. We got a little bit of the sad backstory of Jason being beat the fuck up. And then, you know, he's out there for hours and hours, basically, because the camp counselors don't give a fuck. I don't know if they can or cannot keep that part of the camp counselors, you know, doing their thing on the side. But if they can, that makes sense. So then, you know, Jason's mother, or depending if they can't use her, his father, is out looking for him. They can't find him, and they find him all beat up and deformed, you know. And then they heal him the best they have because they feel, like, betrayed by society, you know. So instead of his mom going out and killing people, she, or the father, lures them, you know, in the woods or like the campsite. She lures these people to Jason to kill them for vengeance. Now that one's a bit of a slippery slope because, I mean, the whole copyright issues and whatnot, so that may or may not fly by. But you know, does Jason even need a backstory? I mean, we see the mask, we see the machete, and we know the dealio, you know? So it's not like Halloween. When I see Halloween, I want to see Michael Myers and I want to see Laurie Strode or like maybe one of her nephews, or you want to see the Myers and Laurie Strode yin yang whole type of dealio, right? You still want to see the kills and everything, but when you see Friday the 13th, we don't even have much story to work off of. Like, we have the whole Tommy Jarvis thing that happened, and maybe like the first movie, but other than that, usually we're just watching it for kills, or just for because it's Jason Voorhees, and I mean, come on now, he's on my arm. I watch it so he could slash people in half. I want to see the kills. I want to see the hockey mask, the machete. I want to see bear traps, maybe. So I believe that if whoever's making the newer movie, if it is a real thing, they could be a couple Dirty Daniels, and they don't even need the backstory, because I mean, subconsciously when you see Jason in his hockey mask, you already have that in the back of your mind, like the whole thing that happens to him. So it's like they don't have to say anything, but we kind of already know. So Willy Cage, what if they wanted a requel? It's the new thing. We had the making the movies, and then we had the bad sequels, and then we have the remakes. And now, with this Halloween and the Scream, we have the requels, right? So why don't we requel Friday the 13th? Oh, more like, what if? Like the name of this video, or the series. What if they requel it? What if? What can they do? Willy Cage, with your supreme knowledge and of Friday the 13th and other horror movie slashers, can you bless us with what if they do it? What can we see in this timeline? Well, my fair people, just sit back, relax. I'll tell you, take it easy. Enough with the third degree now. So, what if they requel it, right? And it takes place after Friday the 13th, number 5. The phony Jason, where Tommy Jarvis was like in a house for I think it was kind of like a mental patient house, more or less, something like that. Roy Burns, he turns out to be the Jason Voorhees at the end. Gerbil, gerbil, gerbil. All right, so let's say some years pass on that, right? Years down the line, Tommy Jarvis, he's finally a grown man. His past is behind him. He's got out of therapy. He has his family. He has a wife and kids. He's living life, living his best life. Maybe he works on movie sets, because when he was younger, in I think number 4, he was making all these masks. Maybe he makes some movies, or works in the fucking costume department, right? But all of a sudden, out of nowhere, these murders start coming out, and he's thinking, wow, it's so crazy, people get murdered, that's no good. And then murders start to go on, and then all of a sudden, they get a picture or word of mouth that it's hockey mask killer with a machete. And then, he starts having nightmares about Jason, in his past, his battles with Jason and the fake Jason and whatnot. And, these murders keep going by, around where he lives. And the more stuff comes up, and he starts to lose his sanity a bit, starts going crazy, starts having these hallucinations like he did in number 5, kind of starting arguments with his wife and whatnot, because he's so paranoid of Jason Voorhees, it's his boogeyman. So, eventually he's I gotta take it in my own hands. It's me and Jason's business. He thinks he's out for him or some snorkies like that, right? So, he gears up, gets ready to go fight this Jason. Save some kids, it's a battle, whatever, but he whoops this Jason like no tomorrow, right? And then he's like, what the hell, it's not Jason. He rips the mask off, and it's some random dude. And he's like, hey, what's the dealio here, man? We murdering people and whatnot. And Tommy Jarvis starts beating the tar out of him to get the information, and he finds out that he's part of a cult, so he sends him to the cult location, obviously. He ends up at the area where he's like, all right, there's more of these sickos. Maybe he killed the guy or whatever. Maybe he brings him there for information. Ends up at the cult location. It's some weird ass hidden church in the middle of somewhere. I don't know. Locations are to vary at the moment. He's in there, but he gets ambushed like every other movie where there's a cult, and they tie his arms behind his back and whatnot, and they're like, oh, Tommy Jarvis, how kind of you to drop in. He's arguing with them back and forth. They reveal the grand scheme of what they're up to, Also, a little side note, this was inspired from one of the stories that we're going to use for Freddy vs. Jason with the whole Colton thing. Just a little side note right there. Anyway, they talk about how basically they're going to Frankenstein together their own Jason Voorhees, right? They're over there cutting up dead bodies because, it's years later, Jason's body is all decomposed and mushy and whatnot. Plus, last time there was Jason Voorhees, I think it was when Tommy Jarvis was younger, and he chopped his brains up. So the body's not too great. So they took what they had. They're over there looking for the best parts. That's what the killings are for. chopping up the parts that they can to, you know, string together as Jason. And at the same time, they're doing it to keep the name of Jason Voorhees alive and to, like, have this fear of a boogeyman or, like, some sadistic serial killer or whatever, you know? Cults, however they act, that's what they're doing with Jason, right? They have their Jasons running around, keeping the fear up, getting their body parts, and then, you know, of course, it happens to be right when he ambushes, convenient timing, that this happens to be the night that they're going to resurrect Jason. And then it can have Jason, like, on an altar or whatever, people, like, chanting, you know, fucking dead bodies everywhere, just make it look super crazy, right? And then Jason's all looking even crazier, like maybe number 9, you know, where his brains are all up everywhere and whatnot, but even more crazier than that, he has, like, fucking duct tape holding his arms together, maybe rope holding his fucking other things, you know, some raggedy-ass Jason with poles sticking out of him like Frankenstein, maybe in his neck or in his back, to make him look crazy as hell. And then, you know, of course, fucking, you can have Tommy Jarvis break out or whatever, and then it's ultimate good versus evil, have an ultimate battle, ultimate showdown, or maybe he doesn't even break out. Maybe they just tie him up, throw him in the jail, Jason goes out to unleash hell on Earth, you know? Because maybe that's what they want. They want hell on Earth. They want Jason to be the supreme being. So, you know, Tommy Jarvis has to break out and stop him. Either way, there's a good versus evil, right? And then how they ever want to end it, they can end it. Most likely it's going to be Tommy Jarvis killing him, you know? But, that's just my little what-if take, you know? Nothing too crazy, but, you know, a little bullet in the chamber there for you. I mean, think about it. We got the requel going on. That's the new thing. We got the legacy character of Tommy Jarvis, you know, so it could have that 4, 5, and then throw everything out the window, and that's the new number 6, right? We got the ultimate freshness of the cult and whatnot, and then Tommy Jarvis being, you know, older in the future, you know, working on himself, becomes a new man, but then slowly loses his sanity and whatnot, because Jason, you know, it's to prevent the murders from happening because how paranoid he is and how scared he is. And then we also got a story. Unlike most Friday the 13th movies, this won't have like a somewhat comprehensible story of basically there's a cult that wants Jason to fucking rule Earth. Well, other than that, my fair people, tell me what you think. Do you think the movie's going to be made? Do you think it's not going to be made? Is there going to be copyright issues? You know, we got a trailer and all of a sudden it gets shut down. Did you enjoy this new What If? Willy Cage's What If? Did you enjoy it? Let me know. Just throw your things down in the comments below. We'll see what I'm brewing up next video, and other than that, not much to go around, you know? Other than love, peace, chicken grease. Check you out.